When I mentioned to my family and friends that I was starting a YouTube channel, I was able to elaborate on what the channel would be about. However, the question that stumped me was asked by my niece. She looked at me with wonder and asked, "Why did you call it Into the Light?" I looked at her back with the same wonder. Light is a very complex subject, as you will find out in this brief introduction. Light is very abundant. The photon has the ability to create matter. Light permeates and is infused with humanity. Light has the potential to aid in healthcare. And possibly light can answer the tough questions, is there a continuation of life? From a standpoint of divinity and spirituality, all sacred scripture that I have read has a deep association with light and the divine. If you look at the Quran, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Greek Septuagint, the Holy Bible, or the Jewish Tanakh, they all have a deep association with light and divine. There are millions of testimonies of people that have experienced death and returned and witnessed a divine light. And those who have studied recalled experiences of death, RED, or near-death experiences, those researchers claim that 4 to 5% of the population on the low end have had these such experiences. What is 4% of 8.2 billion?
The answer is 328 million.
328 million recalled experiences of death, and some want to act like there's nothing to see here. Is there more to learn about the science of light, the soul, the afterlife, the divine? You can find answers to these questions if you are willing to go into the light. We're going to try something a little different here. We got presentation mode. We're going to look at the question, why into the light? This one goes out to my niece who asked the question. Ultimately, we're going to ask a whole bunch of questions, series of questions. Is the discovery of the first light strong evidence for that the universe had a beginning? What do you think the answer to that is? Yes. The first light is the cosmic microwave background, CMB. In 1960, scientists confirmed that the universe indeed had a beginning by discovering the cosmic microwave background. Is the photon, light, the most abundant particle in the universe? Yes, yes it is. How abundant? Yes, it's the most abundant particle. It is that something septillion. It is a big number. How big? That big. That's terrible. A very big number. That's a lot of zeros. Can photons create matter? Yes, according to the Einstein equation that you've all heard about, E equals mc squared. It was theorized back in the 1930s, predicted that this process could indeed happen. They did it with the particle accelerator. Did the photon come before matter in the universe? Yes, according to the Big Bang Theory, photons existed before matter. They came before the formation of atoms and other matter. It is known as the photon epoch. Do photons, light, contain energy? Yes, they are indeed packets of electromagnetic energy. Does the photon light have an infinite lifetime? Yes, indeed. According to physics, the understanding it is considered to have an infinite lifetime. Yes, light is considered eternal. Is light outside of time? Yes, indeed, it is outside of time. From the perspective of a photon, there is no such thing as time.
But if you ever hit the speed of light, then time stops. Photons, which is the carrier of light, right, exists at the speed of light. It doesn't.
Does light experience no distance? Yes, from a photon's perspective, no time and no distance is experienced. Light experiences neither time nor space, existing in all places at all times at once, according to Big Thing. Can light exhibit non-local properties? Yes, a photon can exhibit non-local properties, particularly in quantum superposition. The quantum states of light and matter are inherently non-local. Can light carry data and information? Yes, it can carry huge amounts of data. As a photon can carry data and is essential for quantum computing. Can light have memory? Yes, light can have memory. Quantum coherence properties make it possible for quantum memories for light. Does the photon exist in all life forms? Yes, the photon exists in all life forms. There are particles of light in all living organisms. Do humans emit light? Yes, humans literally glow according to life science. They call it strange. Humans emit a very small amount of light. Do human cells emit light? Yes, they do. Cells do emit light, although it's extremely weak and invisible to the naked eye, referred to as biophotons or ultra-weak photon emission. Do humans only have a tiny amount of visibility into the electromagnetic spectrum? Yes, indeed they do, a minuscule portion. Humans can only see 0.00035% of the visible light electromagnetic spectrum. Do humans produce biophotons? Yes, biophotons are produced in living organisms. It's a low-level light that is emitted in the ultraviolet and visible light waves. Can DNA emit and absorb light? Yes, indeed, DNA can absorb and emit light, primarily in the ultraviolet spectrum, and it is known as biophotons. Do our cells communicate with photons of light? Yes, and they indeed. There's mounting evidence. It's still being investigated. Do our cells communicate on a quantum light level? Yes. Scientists believe that quantum effects like quantum tunneling may play a role in the cellular process. That is also still being understood as biophotonic cellular communication. That could involve quantum phenomenon like entanglement. Does the brain emit light? Yes, the brain emits light known as biophotons, subatomic particles of electromagnetic. Does the brain emit light? Yes, indeed, the brain emits light known as biophotons again, particles of electromagnetic energy. Does the brain communicate with light? Yes, it communicates with light. Phototransduction, light activity, biophotons are there again. Photons known as neurotransmitters. Can the body use photons to heal? Yes, indeed. The body can utilize photons to promote healing through photomodulation. Are there more biophotons present when cells are repaired? Yes, indeed there are. Current research says there's evidence that cells emit biophotons, more biophotons, when undergoing cellular processes and repair. Do humans have an EM force field? Yes, indeed, humans have an electromagnetic force field from electromagnetic activity and light activity within our bodies. It is known as the human biofield. Yes, my wife indeed would say I have a human biofield. Not the one we're talking about. Does the heart have an electromagnetic field? Yes, the heart does have an electromagnetic force field. It extends up to several feet away in front of the body. Current research says that as far as 3 feet. 3 feet away from the body. There it is. Can electromagnetic fields communicate and share information? Yes, indeed, electromagnetic fields can share information. Yes, electromagnetic fields, EMFs, can be used to communicate information over distances. Does observation play a role in the collapse of the wave function of light? Yes, according to quantum physics, an observation, a measurement, or a reading, there is required to collapse the wave function of light, meaning that light exists in a superposition of possibility states until it interacts with something that can observe its properties. That is indeed a deep subject there.
Here, I haven't shown you the results of the experiment. That's what you get. But that's a different result to what we had earlier. Leave the detector there, but just very quietly go and unplug it. Run the experiment again. Now, if you can explain this using common sense and logic, do let me know, because there's a Nobel Prize for you.
Does light play a role in consciousness? Yes, indeed. Light plays a significant role in consciousness.
I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. Max Planck.
Can light theoretically change into matter? Yes. Back to our E equals mc squared. It theoretically can change into matter. Conversely, matter can theoretically change into light. All right, we're going to take it from the top of why into the light. In conclusion, we looked at light was there in the beginning. Let there be light. Yes, it was there from the very start. Before the creation of matter, it has creative properties. It pre-existed matter, like we just said. It is eternal and timeless. It is non-local. It carries information. It can also carry data and memory. Light permeates all life. It is in human cells and DNA. It is involved with brain communication. It has quantum properties. It can promote healing. It contributes to our energy. It shares information. It is fundamental to consciousness. So why into the light? Light is involved with everything. You could study all these characteristics and properties of light and the photon for your whole lifetime and still not understand it. I want to bring you back to the question, or are you curious? Does any of that information that was presented pique your interest? Are you curious? This is the mood elevator here. You have the ascending column and the descending column. But they always say, bring yourself, if you're finding yourself in this zone, bring yourself back to curious, interested. And then you can potentially move up into the grateful, wise, creative, and all those in different areas, and rather not be in here down in the angry, worried, anxious, defensive, irritated. Hopefully I didn't irritate you and bother you with this presentation. We have up here a quote from Einstein: I have no special talents, I am only passionately curious. If he considers himself having no special talents, I have zero talents. I'm definitely not an expert in any of these subjects. I just like to delve into the information, delve into the research, and see what scientists say about this stuff. I am curious. I want to know, is there more to our being? Can we learn more from the study of light? I indeed think we can. Is there a scientific basis for spirituality? I would say indeed there is, and other scientists and other researchers would agree. Is there scientific potential to discover a soul? Science used to be interested in the discovery of the soul. Many scientists and researchers already claim that this question is answered. Is there life after life? The final question, is there a knowable God? I think that's a question you'll have to explore and answer for yourself. But if this question, is there life after life, can be answered as an affirmative, I would say there is indeed possibility for the continuation of consciousness, and if light plays a role in consciousness, there is potential for a knowable God somewhere in that divine consciousness.
For all the people back on Earth, the crew of Apollo 8 has a message that we would like to send to you. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and divided the light from the darkness.